Coming up this morning, we take a look at how some towns have recovered from deadly tornadoes that hit 6 years ago. And as President Trump's 100th day in office approaches, tensions with North Korea continue. Those stories and more. Your first half hour of Sunrise starts now.
You're watching Sunrise on WCBI.
For many, April 27th is an ordinary spring day, but for residents of Webster County, it will always be remembered as the day an EF3 tornado swept through, leaving destruction in its path and impacting the lives of many. WCBI's Victoria Bailey traveled to the areas most hit by the storms and has more.
We're still recovering from it today.
Webster County 911 Director Jimmy McLemore says he remembers April 27th, 2011 like it was yesterday.
We had damage here. Our communications tower had actually blown down. Of course, we didn't have any lights at that time either, so our communications through our center was pretty much cut off.
McLemore says the storm came quickly and was widespread. Even emergency responders needed help.
We had to try to get emergency services to different areas, and that was a struggle because most of the roads in that area were blocked by trees. So we had to get other crews in there to cut the trees down to get the fire departments and the ambulances in.
I didn't have to cut them down. Mother Nature took them when it came through. It got every tree in my yard.
Lee Gilliland is the Matheson Fire Chief. He says there was a lot to learn from this event, but it was a lesson that hit close to home for his family.
I had a big tree in my house that was nearly the death of one of my sons.
One person died that day in Webster County. Close to 15 others were injured and more than 200 structures sustained damage. In addition to the destruction, the storm left behind a lot of fear.
When we get a weather warning notice, it just pretty much scares us to death. Okay, what's coming this time? What are we going to have? So we're all keyed up and kind of expecting the worst every time.
And Gilliland says it was a tragic event, but it brought out the best in people.
Our community come together real well. Then we realized that the school was hit pretty hard, so we tried to get units to start working that way. So all in all, it's been a long time coming back, but we've come back stronger and a much closer-knit family as far as community-wise here.
As a result of the 2011 tornado, the 911 Center received new equipment and Webster County joined the Code Red system. And 6 years ago on the same day, the town of Smithville took a direct hit from a deadly tornado. 16 people were killed when the EF5 tornado hit Smithville the afternoon of April 27, 2011. 161 homes, commercial buildings, and other structures were destroyed when the tornado struck. Since then, Smithville has a new town hall, churches that were destroyed have been rebuilt, and some homeowners have rebuilt larger homes. The town is still without a grocery store. The Piggly Wiggly was destroyed. Mayor Greg Kennedy says the town and surrounding areas could support a grocery store.
Big chain stores, they want to do a survey, and I don't mind a survey, but let's go beyond our city limits. We're only 1 square mile. Let's get beyond that. Let's go into outlying communities right outside of southern Etowah County, over close to the Alabama line, down toward Amory, out toward Hatley, Greenwood Springs, that area. Let's involve all that in there, and we will have the rooftops and households to justify that.
Mayor Kennedy says the town implemented building codes in the aftermath of the tornado, which has led to better housing. The town of Smithville has about 640 residents. It is time now to get the latest on our morning forecast. Here's meteorologist Alex Puckett. Alex.
Thank you, and good morning to you, Renee. Good morning to everyone out there. Starting off with a view of the Alpha Insurance Skycam network, both in Tupelo and in Columbus. We're dealing with clouds this morning, and we're going to continue to see those clouds throughout the rest of the day. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s to kick things off. 55 here in the Friendly City, 59 in Starkville, 56 in Amory, 61 in West Point, 58 in Calhoun City, and 56 in the city of Tupelo. So for the rest of the day, and as the kids head to the bus stop, expect to be in those mid-50s to kick things off. We may deal with some patchy fog and in spots as well before sunrise. We'll be in the upper 70s by lunch, though, and a bit warm today as kids head home from school, topping out in the mid to upper 80s, so a warm day in store. But as we look ahead beyond today, we'll be dealing with some warmth and some windy conditions today. Low 90s for your Saturday, but we're bringing a flooding and severe weather threat as we get into the day on Sunday. I'll have details on that. Time out your rain chances and have your full 7-day forecast coming up in just a few more minutes. Renee?
Alex, thank you. Well, President Trump is suggesting tensions with North Korea could soon reach the boiling point amid continued pressures from the rogue nation. The development comes as Congress votes today on a temporary measure to keep the government open a day ahead of the president's major milestone. Brooke Silva-Braga has the latest.
In a wide-ranging interview with Reuters Thursday, President Trump warned tensions with North Korea could come to a head if the country continues to pursue nuclear missiles.
There's a chance that we could end up having a major conflict with North Korea.
Though the president says diplomacy would be ideal, the U.S. military has put on a show of force in the region in recent days. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says China has helped by pressuring the rogue nation.
They informed the regime that if they did conduct further nuclear tests, China would be taking sanctions actions on their own.
The tough talk came as the House agreed to vote today on a bill to keep the federal government open for at least another week.
They are in a lose-lose-lose situation.
Democrats had threatened to oppose the spending bill, essentially shutting down the government, if Republicans moved forward on a revised plan to repeal and replace Obamacare.
The Democrats at the last minute have come in and thrown a lot of monkey wrenches into the ability for this to get done.
After failing to secure enough votes yesterday, House Republicans once again tabled the health care vote, denying President Trump a major legislative victory one day before his 100th day in office. Brooke Silva-Braga for CBS News.
Today, President Trump will appear before the National Rifle Association, the first visit of its kind by a U.S. president since 1983. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson heads to the United Nations to discuss applying sanctions against North Korea. Well, primary elections for municipal races are less than a week away. It's no doubt knocking on doors and purchasing signs are the traditional ways of campaigning, but many are using alternative ways to reach voters. Social media is playing a significant role for many campaigns, including the 3 mayoral candidates in Starkville. They tell us having a strong social media presence is extremely important in running a successful campaign. The candidates say being active on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook helps them connect with the people.
It's easier to reach more people faster and in a more efficient manner. People have their ability to respond to comments from candidates as well as get a response back from the candidates.
I love being able to go to social media and reach those large groups without having to go door to door. And then I'll tell them on Facebook, like, hey, if you want to see me personally, if you want me to come knock on your door, then send me your address, I'll come to you.
Social media gives you a dialogue opportunity because Facebook, they'll ask you a question, you can respond. Twitter, they can ask you a question and you can respond. And that's not a possible, a two-way communication is not possible when it's radio and TV ads.
Primary elections will take place May 2nd. Still to come, Alex Puckett has the latest on our Friday forecast. But first, local chefs cook up meals for Starkville residents in support of an annual fundraiser. More local news after this break.